So let's talk about Google. Let's talk about the Google ecosystem, the Google platform, the Google products. Let's talk about it all. Now, first, I want to get the negative out the way because there is some negatives. So, I can remember when Chromecast first launched, and that was an absolute mess. They're very old now, and I can remember when they first launched. I went out and got one, plugged it in my TV. Nothing worked on it. It was a mess, and then I didn't go back to them for maybe 10 years or so. But no, they work great. But we'll get into that. So I've also my home, basically, I have a smart home, and the whole home is controlled by Google Assistant. And I have to say, that's actually one of the things that has been spot on, flawless throughout. I've yet to receive an update or a patch or anything that has rendered those devices, in terms of the puck speaker, the mini display, and the larger speakers, because I have all of those in my home. I've yet to have an upgrade or anything like that that's rendered those useless. So that is one thing that I can say has, from start to finish, well, start to present day, that has been very, very good. Hasn't let me down. So let's get to the Pixel phones. So the Pixel phones, this is how it's played out for me. So I originally went out and bought the Pixel 1, and the Pixel 1 was a mess. It really was. Nothing worked on it, and I was one of those unfortunate people that got the black screen of death, and it just died on me, and that was it. And after that, I went on to LG and other such brands. I changed through the years, and then I picked up again. I gave it another chance at the Pixel 4. So Pixel 4 was amazing. Amazing phone through and through. So I bought the Pixel 5. Amazing. Can't fault it at all. It's actually still my phone that I use today, the Pixel 5. Okay. And the Pixel 6 Pro, I bought that at launch. Again, it was such a buggy mess. I was so frustrated, infuriated with it, paid full price for it. And the final straw for me was one day I woke up, it was a Saturday morning, I woke up, picked up my phone, and it had system reset itself. It completely factory reset itself. And I just could not believe it. Everything had just gone. Luckily, it had saved to the cloud. I always back up, but still, that is hours of logging back into accounts, of downloading updates, not only for the phone itself, but software for the apps that you use. That all takes time. And then things like YouTube Music. I like to download those so I'm not constantly streaming. I like to have those on my phone so that I don't have to have reception everywhere. If I'm playing it in the car, it just works. Okay. So again, it all takes so much time. So on that morning, on the day that the Pixel 6 Pro factory reset itself, I went to a trade exchange shop, and I traded it for a Xiaomi phone. So that coming from Pixel 6 Pro to Xiaomi, it was like different worlds. The Pixel 6 Pro was so bad, and the Xiaomi was so good that again I just shunned Pixel phones altogether and stayed on Xiaomi for I'd say at least a year or so. So again, sticking with the negatives for now, I do have some positives to say about it. I do. I was also a founder of Stadia. Again, it should have been something amazing. It should have been so good. When I received this, and it feels so good, the buttons and everything, they're solid. It's such a good controller. It really is such an amazing controller. In fact, if you can pick these up now, activate the Bluetooth on them, it's absolutely worth it. I've seen these in shops now for like £15, and that is a brilliant controller for £15. Okay, so I definitely recommend doing that. But again, Stadia itself, it launched, it had so many features missing. It was buggy, it was laggy, it was just terrible. But over the years, again, it progressed, it grew, it became, it evolved, you know, it became slowly a form of what it should have been. Obviously, it's closed now. It's over. You can't get onto the Stadia app or anything anymore. Again, the Chromecast that came with those for the Founder editions, it's the worst one in my house. Every TV in my house has a Chromecast in it because, like I said, nowadays it is a brilliant bit of kit. Definitely recommend buying them. But the Chromecast that came with the Stadia Founders Edition, it overheats. It's not very good at all. But there you go. That's just been my experience on the negative side. So that brings us to current day. Now, with the Xiaomi phones, they did me right. I've got nothing bad to say about them. I'm not a person that will go messing about with trying to use different launchers or anything like that. Just use the stock stuff and it works as it should. They're great phones. They really are. Still today, I couldn't recommend them enough. But there you go. But anyway, I moved back to the Pixel phones. I got bored with the Xiaomi and moved back to the Pixel phones. So here we are. I have a home that's controlled by Assistant. I have Chromecasts in all the TVs in my properties. I have Philips Hue lights and My Energy, different socket outlets and things like that throughout the house. Even right now, I have a Pixel 4, which I'm going to talk about, a Pixel 5, which I'm going to talk about, and a Pixel 6 that I'm going to talk about, and also the Stadia and Chromebooks that I'm using right now. Okay, that is what we're going to be talking about. Now, with Google, one of the things that I've learned is never buy a new Google product when it launches. Never. I will never ever do that again because they always release it. It's buggy. It doesn't work. It has so many glitches in there, and like I said, I just cannot get the anger out of me for waking up that morning and seeing that the phone had factory reset itself. But I'm back to them now. I have a Pixel 4a, I have a Pixel 5, and I have a Pixel 6. So that's where I'm at. So first off, the device that brought me back into the Pixel line, the Pixel 4. Now this is a fantastic bit of kit. It's brilliant. It's perfect in so many ways. It feels great in the hand. I actually prefer the sensor, the fingerprint sensor on the back of the phones rather than on the front screens. You can pick these up now for about 70 or 80 pounds, which is like $110 or something. It's definitely worth it. One of the things I would definitely recommend is if you have any elderly relatives at all, or people that are just hopeless with phones, these phones are great because they're cheap. It doesn't matter if you break them because everything's backed up to the cloud. And they're so easy to use. I've actually given a Pixel 4 to my girlfriend's mother, and she loves it. She had never had a smartphone before, and she loves it. So again, can't recommend that enough. Again, it's one of those phones, terrible at launch. It became fantastic. Okay, so that brings us on to the Pixel 5. Now, looks exactly the same as the Pixel 4, but it genuinely is so much better. It's a huge, vast improvement over the Pixel 4a in terms of everything, in the way it feels. It's got this lovely coating on it that doesn't feel plasticky at all. It doesn't feel it's the right mix. It doesn't feel too tacky, but it doesn't feel so luxurious like glass that you're scared to drop it. You know, it's that comfortable middle ground where it feels good, rigid, and yet it feels good in your hand. The size of the phone as well is absolutely spot on. They got it right with this phone. And again, you can pick these up very, very cheaply now. The camera on them is fantastic and just keeps getting better. I would definitely recommend them. If you do want to spend a little bit more money, definitely Pixel 5. So that brings us on to the Pixel 6. Now, the Pixel 6, Google decided to completely reinvent the Pixel phones. Now, like I said, I originally bought a Pixel 6 Pro. It was terrible, buggy, hated it. And then that put me off Pixels for quite a while. I have returned to Pixel now, and I got to say, I'm so pleased that they've sorted it out. The phone itself, again, you can pick these up very cheaply now. You can pick these up for about £250. Absolute bargain of a phone. The camera on it, particularly the back, is phenomenal. I genuinely stop in my tracks sometimes for how good the pictures are on them. There's been a few videos that I've made when I've been out and walking and whatnot, and the clarity is just brilliant. It's, in my opinion, it's probably unmatched by any other brand. And like I said, it does just keep getting better. And obviously, this has got all the extras on there that the previous versions don't have. It's got the Tensor chip, which is Google's own chip now. That does work very well, especially with multitasking. With these phones, if you are quite a heavy user, you can split screen, so you can do two things at once simultaneously, and just jump between the apps top to bottom, or however you want to lay that out. Fantastic feature. So yes, when it comes to Pixel phones now, my advice would be to maybe give it 6 months from launch, maybe give it a year even from launch, and then go out and buy them much cheaper and a lot more just well put together in terms of software than going through all the hardship of buying it at launch for so much more money and having to deal with all the nonsense that comes with that as a new product. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Another thing that I want to go into is the Chromebooks. You can pretty much use anything as a Chromebook these days. Because with Google, the way they work is they give you less hardware usually, but more software. So they're constantly upgrading their software. Everything that they use really is cloud-based. So you don't have to use your hardware as much. You just need a decent signal and use their servers. And that's the same on anything. A lot of these Pixel phones now, you don't even really save to the phone. You can set it just to send it off to the cloud. It deletes it from your phone as well, and it just stores it there. For me, that's a fantastic feature because that leaves so much more room for YouTube music and things like that, and videos that I'm going to be making for my YouTube channel to sit on my phone until I edit them or anything else. And I use them kind of like a storage device for that. Again, with the Chromebooks, you can pick them up so cheap. The one that I'm using now, I will get a shot of this, what I'm using. It only cost me £100 flat, £100. It was only about 6 months old. But like I said, they don't retain their value because the hardware itself isn't very good. And well, it's not bad, but it's just not up to any other standards of laptop, which is fine. You don't need it to be, because everything that you're going to be doing on it is server based. You just need decent internet access. Yeah, so that's where we're at with the products. The one thing I will go into though, while we're talking about the products, again, if you don't know about it, Stadia, I got the Founders Edition. I basically feel that I was duped because it launched. I wish I'd waited because it launched. It didn't work. It was laggy, buggy. It was unplayable, frankly. But there you go. That's how it was. In case you haven't kept up with the Stadia devices, basically that ran for I think it was either 2 or 3 years, and they killed it off. It's done. It's finished. All the purchases that were made in terms of subscription, hardware, and additional purchases such as AAA games. One that I bought, for instance, was Red Dead Redemption 2. They did refund all of those, and I think I got about £400 back from Stadia, from Google, for that as a reimbursement. Now, that sounds like a good thing, but it's not, because I would rather Stadia still be running, getting better, and still having a console that I can sit down and play, which I can no longer do unless I go out and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on a console. And it's just annoying. It's so terrible. But there you go. So the last thing I want to go into is the ecosystem now. Oh, actually, before I do that, I want to go into the Chromecasts. Now, the Chromecasts themselves, it doesn't matter which ones you buy. The only difference between generation 1, 2, and 3, I believe it is, 1 and 2 is just a dongle that goes into the back of the TV or whatever you want to cast onto. And the third generation has it might be the fourth generation. Don't quote me on that. But that has a remote control with it. Personally, I never use this. For me, it's pointless. My girlfriend likes to use it, which is why we keep it. But I never use that, and I'll get into that soon. So again, Chromecast launched terribly, which is a trend with Google, unfortunately. But it is now an incredible piece of equipment. Even if you're not in any kind of Google ecosystem, I would recommend just going out and buying one. You can pick them up again in any trade exchange shop for about £10. And it's something that you can just put in your purse or backpack, suitcase. If you go abroad, if you go stay in a hotel, anywhere, and it's got a TV, you just plug that in and you've got everything there sitting waiting. You've got Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon. It's all just there waiting, and it's so easy to just open the app on your phone and just cast it to it. Okay, which brings us to the ecosystem itself. So moving on from the Chromecasts, which, like I said, fantastic bit of kit now. Good stuff. So the ecosystem itself, again, it's been a long, tiring journey, and Google have really gone about it the wrong way. With repeated launches, with products over and over again, my apologies, I've just got a message from my stepson asking me if he's got a message, says if it's a scam. But again, I've had that come up on my Chromebook from my mobile phone, which is in my pocket. So again, it just shows how good the ecosystem is now, but I'm getting into that. So yes, the ecosystem, although it's had a long and very, very bumpy road, we're now at a point where I'm comfortable enough to say to people, I would recommend buying these products. The Chromecast is absolutely outstanding, regardless of what system you use. I would just recommend you have one, just for if you go somewhere for a night, you've got everything with you. The phone's now absolutely brilliant, particularly the Pixel 6 when it comes to pictures, things like that. The software in it now it's so streamlined, it's so comfortable, and it all works, more importantly. And not only that, it all integrates with everything else. Everything that you have will talk to everything else. So for me, because I had everything, so the Stadia would talk to the Chromecast, which would talk to my phone. The phone would talk to the Stadia and talk to the Chromecast. The phones and everything, that it all intertwines with everything else, and it fits so perfectly. Again, the reason for that is because it's cloud-based storage. So everything you're doing really is you're using their servers. And back in the day, it didn't work so well. But now we're finally at a place where we can say, yes, it's worth buying. It's a good system and it's cheap. Okay. My setup that I've got here, including the microphones, the Chromebook, the rear light, the 4K cam. I'm going to include all of my Pixel phones, the 4a, the 5, and the 6, and the Stadia. Everything is under £1,000. Okay, it's incredible, and I'm not fighting with the ecosystem to get things done. I'm very comfortable. I can edit. I can take a video out while I'm walking, and by the time I've got home, that's already sitting here on my Chromebook ready for me. Another fantastic feature that they've released on the Pixel phones is you can now have your remote control in the notification bar of your home screen. So when you slide your finger down to bring down the notifications, any remote that you need to use, if you're casting anything, it just comes up straight away and it sits there, and it's fantastic because you don't have to scramble around for remotes or anything like that. It's just sitting there waiting for you on your phone, and you can pair that with multiple devices throughout the house. So if you're a parent, you've got kids in their bedrooms, you want to know what they're watching, you can just look at your phone because the control is there. If they're playing music on it too loud, you can control it as a parent, and you can do anything you want. It is genuinely a very, very good ecosystem now. So that's where we're at now. It has taken, I would say, probably about 10 years to get everything to this point. But now that we're at that point, it is a very good point to be at. If you'd have asked me about any of this, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have said, "Oh, probably don't bother." But now I'm back with all the Google stuff, and it just works. It flows together. It's just very, very comfortable. The only thing I will say about the modern product is that's the Pixel 6, that's the Pixel 5. The size difference in them and the complete redesign, for me, it isn't an upgrade. I prefer the size of that. For me, the Pixel 5 is the perfect phone. It just sits so comfortably in your hand. It feels good. Okay. And then, like I said, the Pixel 6, it feels a bit more, a bit showboaty and a bit more delicate, shall we say. I would happily drop my Pixel 5 and be confident that it's going to be in good condition when I pick it up, rather than the Pixel 6. I know that this does have stronger glass and everything on it. It's Gorilla Glass 6 on the back and Invictus on the front, which is a whole new level of Gorilla Glass. But again, for me, I would still, if I was to lose one of these phones, I would prefer to lose the Pixel 6. Google, if you see this video, if you were to release a Pixel 8, because I know the Pixel 7's already out, or a Pixel 8 or a Pixel 9, which is the same size as the Pixel 5, with the sensor on the back and with that nice mesh that you got on the back of the Pixel 5, I would buy that, definitely. Just with uprated hardware and a bigger battery, I would buy that. So yeah, that's my understanding and my experience with the Google ecosystem throughout the years that I've had it and where it's at now. I'm happy to say that again, it's been a long journey, but we are at a point where you've actually got a fair argument now with other brands, and specifically Apple. If you pull out a Pixel phone now and somebody's got an Apple phone, a few years back, Apple were they had the edge, but now, because the Pixels and everything, they do have their own ecosystem that works. It all talks to each other. It's fluid. It flows together. In my opinion, it's now far superior to the Apple products. But there you go. If there's anything that you want me to go into further detail, I'm very experienced with these phones. So if you're curious about how to pair them, sync them, how to cast the screen or anything like that, feel free to drop me a message down below, and I will do my best to make videos to help anyone out that needs any help with the Google products. It is an ecosystem that I'm going to be sticking with now, providing they don't release any software updates that destroy it all. I can't see that happening now, as far as I'm concerned. This is where it should have been years ago, but now we're here. Now it's a good system, okay? We're finally there. So, like I said, if anyone wants any further information on any of these products, feel free to drop me a message and I will go into detail furthermore. If not, enjoy the products. So, as promised, I said I would get a video of the Chromebook and my setup, and I promise you everything that I've mentioned in this video has cost me under £1,000. Everything, okay? So I'm just going to show you, I'm just going to switch quickly to the rear view camera and we can continue. 1 second. So here we have the rear view camera, and I promise you, as I've said, everything that you're looking at and everything that we've talked about has cost me under £1,000. That includes the stool for my laptop. That includes the microphone holster. That includes the arm, the microphone arm, and whatever the hell that is, and the 4K camera, and the halo light behind it. And that's my setup, what I look at when I'm filming my videos. And you can see I'm in a room absolutely filled with hot toys and pop culture stuff, and that's obviously the background that you guys always see during my videos. Right, so I understand that there's a couple of things that I haven't mentioned from the Google products, one of which is the Pixel Buds. So these are the Pixel Buds, right? Now, these I can't recommend, unfortunately. Everything else that I've spoken about, I've been honest about, and it all flows, it all works so well. It really does. However, the Pixel Buds, they just don't for some reason. I don't know if the Bluetooth isn't, it can't generate a strong enough connection. Even I use these with my Pixel 6. So it's Pixel and Pixel, they should work perfectly together. Unfortunately, they just don't. I would recommend buying other brands. So the Pixel Buds, I wouldn't recommend. These I bought stupidly cheap. I think these were only about £23. They're called JLab. They look really nasty, but they're actually fantastic, and it's got this stupid little bit at the bottom that you use to charge it up, so you've always got your charger with you, and they're my go-to earbuds. They really are, and I use those over the Pixel Buds. So unfortunately, that's why I've left that for last, because it's something that with everything else, it has been upgraded with software updates. Unfortunately, with those, I don't think they can be upgraded with software updates, purely because, like I said, I just don't think they can generate a good enough signal for to stay connected to the Pixel 6. So another set of headphones I've got is the Xiaomi Mate buds. These, again, ridiculously cheap. You can pick these up on the Xiaomi site. They don't form like a seal in your ear. They just sit in your ear. But if you're working on a laptop or anything, again, definitely recommend those. The range on those, if you get up to go and make a cup of tea or anything, those will stay connected forever, basically. They are very, very good. I usually use those with my laptop, and they work perfectly. The black JLab ones, I use those with my Pixel 5. Again, they are my go-to earbuds. That's why they're paired with my Pixel 5. And then the Pixel buds, I'm not that keen on. They're okay, they work, they do serve a purpose, I do use them, but they're not my go-to headphone earbuds, unfortunately. They're just not good enough, unfortunately. I also have a keyring set of earbuds, which are Skullcandy, that I have for my car. And then I just have those as emergency earbuds, as a keyring, in case I get caught out somewhere. I do like to listen to music. It helps me out with my depression. I do like to be distracted if I'm caught off guard and get incredibly bored. So the last thing is the Pixel Watch. And the only thing I'm going to say about the Pixel Watch is one word, and that is battery. I wouldn't buy the Pixel Watch purely because of the battery. For me, if I hear of a watch that isn't going to last around 5 days is my minimum, really. If it's not going to last about 5 days, I'm not interested. And the reason for that is my watch that I have is the Samsung Galaxy Frontier. That is an amazing bit of kit. You can pick these up for about £60 now. Absolute bargain. That will happily do me Monday to Friday, and then I can put it on charge Friday night, and it will do me another 5 days. If I'm going to stay away over the weekend, I can still have heavy usage on that. I do have a flashy display on it, and I use the heart rate monitor all the time, which obviously uses more battery. But I'm happy to do that because I know that it's going to last me well. If I did have to use that longer, it can do that. I would just turn off like vibration function and things like that. But I never really have to be honest. I'm very happy with that watch. And again, I can't recommend the Pixel Watch purely because of that alone, just the battery life, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's the end of the video, really. Again, if you want me to go into any detail about any of these specific products, then feel free to drop me a message, and I'm happy to go into detail about anything. Like I said, everything that you see here has cost me under £1,000. Everything. All of that, and the phones and the watch. So you can pick up some proper bargains out there, okay? And I stand by what I said. The Pixel phones, the Chromebooks, the Chromecasts, all worth it, all brilliant systems. They just, for me, they've just let everyone down on the watch and the earbuds. But it is what it is. Anyway, cheers for listening. Bye.